Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, so your founder at least twice a day, guys. He's quite handsome and brilliant. Easy measy, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase with Picatinny rail adapters to come out to any standard AR-15, like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. And lastly, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends and your enemies, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Ford to have their dealers look more like Apple stores, which, considering some of their trucks cost $100,000 plus, perhaps that does warrant it. Now, this brought us thanks to Brian Hurd, who's a writer at thedrive.com, and they say, quote, Ford's new dealership design is part of hotel lobby, part Apple store. Say Subaru went LL Bean, Ford would probably like us to say they're aiming for Apple store, but we're getting more Hobby Lobby. How dare you? That is an insult to the great establishment of the Oklahoma-based Hobby Lobby. This looks more like a soulless Apple store. Or what else could that look like? A boring dentist? No, some dentists are cool. I don't want to be too pejorative on that industry, be a dentite, heaven forbid. But yeah, if you're just watching or listening on the Spotify, which I mispronounced because I think it's funny, and not watching on Rumble, which is awesome, or YouTube, which is evil, it is really weird to see the Ford logo. It's been carved into the table. But there's no blue oval, which is, again, what everyone knows in terms of brand recognition. Obviously, it's the same trademarked font. But yeah, it is really weird just to see it carved into the wooden table or counter. But yeah, it almost looks like an upscale coffee shop too. Lots of glass, light wood, flowers, a Ford dealership. And yeah, it looks all right, I guess. Now, again, credit to Brian Hurd. They say, quote, the automobile industry looks like it's trying to reinvent itself in the world of autonomous mobility, whatever that means. Car makers are likewise exploring new ways to attract customers into the dealerships. Just recently, Subaru rolled out a plan that looked like they're going full LL Bean, which makes perfect sense for the outdoorsy crowd. Ford, meanwhile, is aiming for something a bit less lifestyle and a bit more Silicon Valley. Which, yeah, looks like it. Maximize that picture right there. It looks like a tech bar, or like one of those places where you can, like a shared workspace area. Oh, weird. I would say Ford would probably be happy if I likened their design to that of a certain tech branch that started with the letter A. But what we're getting here is more of a please enjoy your stay than right this way to the geniuses. Ford is reinforcing the notion with the first of 4 core principles defined in the new retail experience, hospitality first. The new showroom design is split between traditional office space and what is Ford calling hospitality spaces, or open conference center style rooms that can accommodate interactive displays, leisure areas, or collaboration spaces. Even dealerships have meetings, right? Which will be interesting to see. Yeah, how you're negotiating a car, doing the Foursquare. God, those things will, those damn things. Imagine doing a Foursquare between a panel of glass and you see the other person. Yeah, that's weird. You'll be able to, I mean, the acoustics alone are going to be terrible. But nevertheless, they say, quote, it does look nice, I'll admit, and it turns out I've already seen it in person. Ford just now officially unveiled the looks and called it Ford Signature 2.0. But Ford already has a functional demo, including an oversized refreshment bar. It is placed in this experience center in Dearborn, which that's where they are headquartered. When I visited earlier this year, the hotel / conference center vibe just hit a note that Ford is aiming for. Ford will open 10 of these 2.0 stores at the end of 2025. It hopes to bring in another 110 stores online nationwide, or worldwide, by the end of 2026. Which, as weird and funky as this looks, I understand probably where they're going for this. These are probably going to be in Beverly Hills areas, like highfalutin areas. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. I mean, if a bunch of farmers and I saw this, we'd laugh at them derisively. Imagine a farmer coming in, and they don't all have mud on their boots. But again, working men aren't suiting up to buy a car. They're going there to buy a piece of machinery, a piece of business material. And I don't know, to me, I mean, I would just feel so awkward if I were in that. It wouldn't feel, you actually wouldn't feel comfortable. I don't think they're going to build these in Iowa. As much as I love Iowa, it just doesn't pass the vibe check, I want to say. Now, again, if you're purchasing a, $200,000 Ford Mustang GTD Banana Falcon, I'm purposely derisively butchering the name because it only comes in the automatic transmission, which is an abomination. But nevertheless, you're spending 6 figures on a Ford vehicle, and they're trying to cater to that top audience, which is more profitable per unit when they're selling those things like the Ford F-350, 450, 550 Banana Falcon that cost, again, as much as a house in Iowa. Yeah, I can understand the upscale environment. Looks like they got a nice cappuccino espresso machine, which those things cost more than a car in some cases, though I don't think it's as crazy as a Lamborghini dealership espresso machine that's like 35 grand, which, geez Louise, I can't imagine that much for a fancy beans pressed through water. But nevertheless, it looks like a pretty fancy spot. You got, a couple of fridges. It looks like it's probably, the honor system in terms of, taking beverages. So these will, probably be in high trust areas of society, pollutant areas, pinky high areas of the world or the U.S. And it might help bring in the higher end clientele as Ford is trying to compete more and more with these luxury brands. And it's funny because personally, I think Ford is more luxurious than Lincoln, which again, that's their luxury brand, their division, their car company that they own. I mean, for years they also had Mercury as well, and other brands like Aston Martin. But I mean, it's one of those things where there's a reason that I think they're investing more and more into Ford because they know that brand is better. And this seems like a high skill Ford, dealership. Interestingly enough, they didn't bother even doing Lincoln with this. Because again, Lincoln is supposedly a luxury brand, which is, how GM has Cadillac, or General Motors has Cadillac more specifically, or, spelling it out for you. It's interesting that they didn't bother doing this for Lincoln because I think they know that brand is just not strong enough alone to invest a dedicated, expensive, high-fluent dealership like this. Even when you see Lincoln in general in terms of the dealerships, they usually have a couple of things attached to it. But again, I think this is a smart move by Ford. It'll cost them a prepaying to do this remodeling. Again, for those higher end clientele where they're spending, 6 figures plus in a Mustang or, Ford F-150 Banana Falcon, whatever trim level you go with. I think it's a pretty good idea. I think it'll probably bear fruit long term. But let me know your thoughts because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you click that button. I really appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone, everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.